Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Frozen Fortunes, and yeah, we're going to do it again. We're going to jump straight into things. So, we've played a massive amount of games in the break between the last episode and this one, and the next episode is going to be the same. Next season, definitely not going to do that. I'm going to break it down into 3, because this is just way too much, particularly when you're playing on Extended, which I definitely want to keep doing, because it does give you a chance to change tactic stuff during the game and see little bits that going wrong as you go along. Plus, we've had the addition of extra cup matches and stuff like that in this period of games as well, so it made sense. The next season, we'll split this section into 3 episodes rather than 2. First game that we played at home against Freymad, we took the lead through Dan Benson. Absolutely brilliant strike from the edge of the box, soaring into the top corner. And he and both he actually and Ronnie and Carter, the new loan signing on loan from Olwog, who is excellent, and has replaced Soren Diermosa to an extent this month. Although Diermosa has picked up an injury as well, which didn't help him. They've been brilliant, and in this game they were truly superb. As you can see, Benson got a 9.0 in this game, and then Carter got a 7.2. I think he probably could have had a higher rating than that. Very, very unfortunate. We actually created a lot of chances against a team who were ranked quite highly at the start of the season, if I remember. But Anders Carr and Oliver Drost with the late goal for them, they flipped it on us. We just lost a bit of concentration at the end and fell to our first home defeat, I think possibly even of the season, if you think about it overall. Which is a shame, but shit happens. With that, it's worth mentioning we have signed another guy on loan as well. We've got a guy called Alan Sepeo, who you may have seen in the last episode, another Ugandan. The only players that seem to be able to join us are players that aren't Denmarkish. They aren't Danish. They're not from Danish. They are from Danish teams, but they're not Danish. Both of these lads are Ugandan. And the third player that I was potentially going to sign, but he went to Yamabukt instead, was also from Uganda. So, yeah, it's really weird. We have, however, signed a couple of Icelandic players, again, obviously, and a few of them look quite decent. One might actually get quite a bit of first-team game for us this season, and there's another one that might be on the precipices of the first team as well. But we'll show you those when we get to the match screen. Next up, we were away to Vidovra, and they took the lead after 10 minutes from Ahmed Adagim, which is a great name, but when we actually flipped it around on them, an Alan Franson penalty, that's right, praise be, he actually scored a penalty, and then Ronnie and Carter with a brilliant header from a corner. Franson whipped the ball in, and then Carter just rose like, well, a cliche, and headed it into the top corner for 2-1, but they did get one back, or equalised rather, through Kim Arbeck later in the game. It's another point on the road. That's 2 points on the road out of 2 games. We possibly could have won this one as well. We've looked pretty good, but you can see why I'd be worried at this point, because we've actually looked fairly solid in all 3 of these games and found ourselves only taking 2 points from them. And I did wonder if that was going to be a sign of things to come at this level. Thankfully, we got a bit of respite from the league in the following game against Vattenspor, who have, I believe, an entire set of Turkish regens. Now, I don't know if that's hard-coded into the game, because I know there's a few other clubs that have this sort of strange thing where they're sort of clubs for diaspora of other nations, if you like. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if that's hard-coded or whether you can actually make that yourself. But 6-2. We were actually 6-1 up at this in this game at half-time. We took the lead very early on from Søren Bøje, but then they got on back for Burhan Demirci. After that, I just threw it on attacking because I wanted to see if we could sweep them out the way before half-time, and that's exactly what we did with the following 5 goals. Franson had a bit of a mixed game. He scored a header, a left-footed strike, a free kick, and then got himself sent off for 2-footing someone. So he's pretty much completed, well, his own version of like the Gordie Howe hat-trick. We'll call it the Franson hat-trick. It's also worth knowing that Alan Franson is now being sponsored by Alex Watts on the Patreon, which is very kind, and that means you have him to thank for taking a tiny dent out of Alan's wages. Albeit they're not that much to begin with. But in this game, being 6-1 up at half-time, I actually threw it on to take a breather and turn the tempo down to low, which is probably why they got a goal back. And they did create a few opportunities, but I just wanted to try and save our players, because as it was a midweek game and we had a really tough game away at Frem on the Sunday, I wanted to try and save some players, but still managed to get us through to the second round, so we could fulfill our expectations of the board. Didn't matter what happened after that, but I didn't want to be giving them any reason to fire me, what with my low wages and whatnot. In between all this, I had a very strange news item piece, which I'm going to be showing you on the screen now, from my head of youth development, telling me that I had a player called David Morris, which I knew is a goalkeeper, he's Irish, that had a change in attitude, a remarkable change in attitude. And when I actually went and looked at what that meant, his determination had gone from 5 to 15. I've never seen that before. How do I make this happen more? Or is this just a random event? Or is there things you can do that are conducive to improving these sort of things and make them happen more often? Because if there are, let me know, and I'd like to make that happen a lot more. Frem was a very strange game. It played out a bit weirdly. Beren Camili and Daniel Pedersen gave them a 2-0 lead on 51 minutes. Problem being, we were actually playing really well at this point, so I didn't really know what to do. So we did what we always do. We threw it on overload and saw what happened. Well, what happened was a Mikkel Nygaard hat-trick and a Nikolai Pedersen own goal as we completely flipped it on them. And this team really does seem to have some ability, I think, over the past season. I've really noticed we have a real ability to come from behind in games and really sweep through. Now, I think that might be because perhaps attacking and overload are actually quite suited to this tactic. But when I've used this tactic in other saves, which I've got one else going, every time I've tried to start with those, it just never seems to work. So the only way I think it works is that when you set up countered, the other teams adapt to you in a certain way, and then when you flip it, this tactic seems to become quite useful in places, so that's pleasing. It was also a pleasure to get Mikkel Nygaard back because, I mean, we missed him for the first couple of games, and it really showed, because since he's been back, he has been absolutely phenomenal, really. Better than Alan Franson. Against Marienlyst, we took the lead very early on, once again through Mikkel Nygaard in the 25th minute, but we did get pegged back on the stroke of half-time by Oliver Feldballer, and disappointing, because we were actually smashing them at this point. This time I didn't decide to throw it on attacking or anything. We were sticking with our home tactic, and eventually it just won out. We just ground them down. Nygaard made it 2-1 in the 74th minute before Rasmus Bigler coming off the bench to score himself a brace. That's more like it from Rasmus. I really do want to see some stuff from him. He's going to be very useful in games where they've got quite a slow backline, because Bigler does seem to have a bit of pace about him. I guess that comes from his experiences as a winger. But he's got good goal scoring when he gets his chances. We really do need to give him those chances, though. But the most important thing about that is it was 2 straight wins in the league, and we'd actually only lost 1 of our first 5 games. So it suddenly went from looking quite bad to looking bloody good. And at this point, we were 7 points above the drop zone, mainly thanks to teams like Vidovre Frem and Marienlyst performing dreadfully. Marienlyst actually lost all of their games. I think they lost their first 6 matches in the league, which helped us tremendously. Against Helsingør, it was yet another one of these games we could have won, and these guys are decent. They're like 3rd in the league at the moment and one of the better sides in this division. Franson finally getting somewhere gave us the lead on the 59th minute. We very nearly got it, but a mistake at the back cost us, and Jens Rasmussen went through in the 88th minute to equalise for them. But still, a good home point against one of the better sides in this division. Can't knock it. Against Silkeborg, they're a top-flight side. We were at home in the Cup. I played a rotated side as well, as you'll see by some of the players listed in this. We played a very rotated team for this one, and still only lost 1-0. And that's despite the fact that we had a player sent off after 48 minutes, and Søren Dirmosa was stretchered off after like 72 minutes, which meant that we finished the game with 9 men and still only lost 1-0 to them. We might be able to pull off a couple of upsets in the Cup over the next couple of seasons if we could just keep everyone on the pitch. We could have had a chance in this game, although admittedly the rotated squad did not help, but I had no choice. We'd only played a game 2 days before that, so players were so knackered, we had to get someone else in. Against Køge, this one looks like a pretty boring game, and it kind of was. There was a couple of chances each. Mikkel Nygaard missed an open goal, managed to hit the post with no goalkeeper or players in the way, which was very disappointing. But then at the other end, we had our luck as well, as they missed a penalty. So it could have gone either way. But again, a good point on the road. And at this point, I don't think we'd even lost an away game. Okay, we'd only played 4. But that's not bad. To take 6 points from our 4 away games, very, very good. This is probably our most disappointing performance. Roskilde are down there with us. They were below us in the league, and we just didn't have an answer for them. They took the lead through Emil Nielsen on 7 minutes. Then Daniel Stenderup gave them a 2-0 advantage on 40. It just wasn't happening for us. Nygaard got one back in the second half after we did throw it on attacking, but it just wasn't enough. We weren't good enough on the night, and that one really did disappoint me. We have also signed a new affiliate agreement with a club called Kolding BK. You might remember them as one of the twins from the lower divisions. So, yeah, we've got them as well. I'm going to try and send some more players out on loan to them once the window is back open again. I'm going to try and get as many of them as possible. Still no senior affiliate. The board aren't having that. I really hope that we can sort something like that out, because it might actually allow us to get some players on loan, because they might not have a choice. I don't know. I'm really unsure of this at the moment. Finally, we played against Vendsyssel, and frankly, 2-1 might look like a close game. This was not a close game. We could have lost this 7-0. They had, in fact, I wrote this down, 7 clear-cut opportunities and 8 half chances in this game. They should have taken their chances. But what I would say is that our defeats have all been by the odd goal. 2-1, 1-0 in the Cup, admittedly. 2-1, 2-1. All our league defeats have been 2-1. We've had a couple of 0-0 draws, a 2-2 and a 1-1. But when we've won big and scored a lot of goals when we have done. We're not losing games by huge margins, which is brilliant. It's actually very encouraging that we've been slightly stronger defensively, or it certainly seems that way. So that's good going forward, in before we get smashed 6-0 today by Vejle. So we're no longer 7 points above the drop zone. We're only 5 points above it now, but look at that goal difference, +2, when you compare to all the teams below us who, I mean, they're like 13, 14 worse than us. That's like having an extra point at this stage, and I can't see that getting any better for them as the season goes on. We might have only won 2 of our 9 games, but we've only lost 3 of them as well. And, well, we've basically got just over a point a game at the moment. If we were to lose today, which I gotta say feels likely, we'd be dead on a point a game, which is not that bad. Something that's also worth noting is if we were to get to the top flight, because I saw some people talking about the stadium, we would have to share a stadium with another team, and then the board would have to carry out a lot of stuff to do with our stadium to get it up to code. I did a test save where I just simulated a load of stuff to see what would happen when the club went up the divisions, and yeah, that's what happened basically. We've got a synthetic pitch for a start, which I don't believe is allowed in the top flight in Denmark, so there's all kinds of stuff. So we'll need to save some money for when we get to that point, because that's going to cost us a goddamn fortune, albeit the prize money could help us. So, what we're going to go with for today, we're going to go with Börje, Nigor, and Franson up top. There's really no need to change that. They've all, apart from Börje, he's had a few off games here and there, played all right. Diamosa, I've been preferring Encarta over him. Oh, that reminds me, I'll show you the other new guys in a second. Benson in the middle still, although Encarta can play there as well. Gunnarsson, I've been preferring Sayapeo in that position. Boldklubben will play here, obviously, until such time as Betzer is fit. And I've been using Campbell, mostly been preferring Paul Casey in this position. Because we really are struggling in the centre-back areas. Luke Campbell is the best one we have at the moment, and that to give you an idea of where we're at the moment, and Johnson in goal. Right, so the bench, we've got Bisgaard, Gunnarsson, Diamosa, Bigler, Ingolfsson, who's one of the new lads. I'll just show you him now. He's probably the best player that we brought in from the Icelandic leagues. He's a central midfielder, which means he's going to get a fair amount of game time, particularly away from home. He's got low self-belief, which is not one I've seen that often, but he's got decent determination and stuff. Great teamwork, but also 14 passing and 11 first touch. That I really enjoy. Okay, his tackling's a little bit low for a centre midfielder, but I guess he's not really that important. Well, it's a little bit important, but that 14 passing is where I'm very, very interested in. 10 vision as well. The flair's a little bit on the low side, but I gotta say, I think this lad could be interesting for us. We've also got Einar Torstensson, and I don't know if he's from this set of players or last year. I think he might be from last year, but he is starting to develop into a relatively decent centre midfielder himself with 12 passing, and he's fairly professional. Can't go wrong there. So that'll be the team for today's game. Let's get into it. There's no doubt that this is going to be tough. I'm going to go with the underdogs one. No, that doesn't work either. They seem to be getting less and less effective, those kinds of team talks. Anyway, question of the day, and today's question is this. Who do you think will be promoted to the Premier League this year? Pretty obviously, I think Wolves will go up. They've had a little bit of a tiny wobble, but they'll still go up, I think, comfortably. I do think Cardiff will go with them. I know they've got some tough games, but they're just on fire at the moment. And, okay, I'm biased as a Fulham fan, but I really do think that we will have a chance through the playoffs. I think it's between us and Villa, in all honesty. Derby seems to have gone off the boil lately, and I don't know why. And that other spot seems totally up for grabs. So let me know who you think will go up to the Premier League this season, and if you have any ideas for a question of the day, drop those in the comments too with the hashtag QOTD. It doesn't even have to be football related. Casey loses the ball to Henriksen. Man in the middle here. Eric. No! Oh, what a save. Well played, son. That's bad defending, but good goalkeeping. They're getting a lot of possession, and something I've noticed is that at home, for the most part, teams have actually been standing off us and letting us have the ball, which didn't really happen much last year. I think that's just down to the quality of our team. Last year was, I guess, better overall. I have no idea, actually. But also in away games, we're getting even less possession. But it does seem to be playing into the hands of our counter-attacking style a little bit more than perhaps it would have last year. So that's noteworthy. So 26 minutes gone, and we've not even had a single shot on goal yet. So hopefully we can change that. If things are still looking stable like this, I might be tempted to try and push it onto attacking for the second half at some point, just to see. Oh my lord, Ronnie, what are you doing, son? Okay, so I'm noticing that Rasmus Borup's rating in this game is climbing and climbing. He's already on like a 7.3. Considering we've done nothing in this first half, it does make me wonder if something we can do with that left-hand side today, because he does seem to be getting quite a lot of joy. 7.4 now. He's comfortably the best player in this team. Interesting. It'd be great if we could not have 2 0-0 live comms in a row. That'd be just marvellous, FM. If you're up for it, maybe do something. So Borup's playing incredibly well. I'm tempted to actually go to the left-hand side and just see if that doesn't. Maybe we could change something with what he's doing as well. We've not completed a single cross so far, so I'm going to get Borup to cross from different places, but also cross less in general. I think that's the best thing we could do right now. I think we're going to cross. If he's going to cross from deep and cross less often overall, and we might set, say, Payo to also cross less often. But we won't change too much about this. Because I'm actually, they started off all right, but they've not really offered anything themselves either. They've had a single half chance. I expected better from them, to be honest. And Carter, say Payo, lobs it after Franson. Can he win the header? He's knocked it down for Nygard. Boya's in there! What a save that is from the goalkeeper. First real good chance of the game actually goes to us. So the assistant reckons we should play some more long balls forward. So I am tempted to go with that for a bit. So 65 minutes in, and so little is happening in this game. I think it's about time we made a change. Sepeo's not played well, so we're going to get Gunnarsson on there. Benson and Carter. And Carter's looking a little bit on the knackered side, so I might get Diamosa in there. Benson's the least... He's probably the worst performing striker out of the three. But you know what? Let's get Rasmus Bigler on for Benson. Not Benson, for Franson. It's a little bit of a risk making 3 substitutions like that. I know. I do it sometimes, and I've regretted it once or twice when we've picked up an injury late on or a red card or something. But I'm just going to have to trust them. Another long shot goes to nowhere. It's been a pretty poor game overall, to be honest. Bigler again, though. Can he... Uh-oh, Eric's in and he's got the pace, but look at that from Casey. Nice recovery tackle. Madsen into the box for Zivadze. Can he square it to the back post? He can, and Eric's in, and it's 1-0. I thought we'd cleared the danger there, but they now have scored. Eric with the goal. Zivadze with the assist. It's not the best clearance here, but it's a great first-time ball into the channel here from Madsen, and our wingback was too far up the pitch. Still, the defenders could have done a bit better. Good ball to the back post, and Eric scores. I just didn't think we were going to get it. Right, time to go on to... should we just go overload? Should we just go straight overload? And we're going to turn off the exploit the flanks and just go a bit more old school. See if we can nick something late on. What I would also say, though, is it is still only 1-0. Even if we lost this game 1-0, it kind of goes to show again what I'm talking about us only losing these sort of games, when we are losing, by the odd goal. We're not getting smashed every time. Uh-oh. Oh. Phew. I just want us to see... I want to see us create one chance in the end of this game. Here we go. Boya's in behind. He's got Bigler at the back post. I don't know if he's got the pace. Nygaard! Ooh, that nearly went straight in. Casey again. Suddenly seen a few more highlights that are in our favour a little bit. Into the channel for Bigler. He's not got... I say he's not got the pace. He just hasn't really bothered to try and have the pace that time. He just sort of trotted along. Eric. Now, he does have the pace. Mukoli. And, uh-oh, Eric's in behind again. Keeper needs to do something. Oh, wow. They are... They're getting in there now. Yeah, I think once they got that goal, it was always going to be difficult for us to get anything back from this game. We had that one opportunity through Boya early on, but it has been... You can see the golfing class. Eric there looks and sees his man at the back post, goes across all 4 players and into the bottom corner. Shame. Gregerson has not had a good game today. Borup's probably been our best player by miles, but he's looking knackered now. Djukic's ball into the midfield. Knocked down by Diamosa. It's just not fallen to the right man. It just never is at the moment. They're getting him behind a lot. He's going to go back post again, you'd feel. Ball in. Oh, what a save. What a save from Johnson. Yeah, I think today it just didn't work against them. I thought for a second we were looking a bit better when we switched to overload, but it just wasn't good enough. Vidovre are losing at home to Kurga, though, so that helps us out a little bit. Over the top for Zivadze, and he's in again here. Oh, and yeah, I think that comes from me leaving it on overload for too long. We've opened up to them, but I don't know what other choice we had. We probably could have just gone straight to attacking, but they've torn us apart on the breakaway. Just losing the ball too easily, too much space in those gaps. Eric and whatnot, and Zivadze has also been excellent. Keeper gets a hand to it, but it isn't enough, and we've lost 3-0. This is our biggest defeat of the season. They're a good side, and we've not offered much at all. Probably don't go and concede another one, though. That would be, if we could not do that, that would be just excellent. Roskilde are winning their game, so they move above us. Well, there we have it. 3-0 defeat. Completely deserved, frankly. We finally got a negative goal difference, and that's my fault for throwing it on overload. Maybe we should have just gone to attacking, but we had to do something. I think in the end, they just ground us down. But still looking confident. We're still 4 points above the drop, so massively better goal difference. So there's still hope for us left. So in the next episode, we'll be doing the final game before the Christmas break, which is away at Roskilde. That could be a really important game, as they're going to be down there with us. Few tough fixtures coming up. Esbjerg, Fremad, and Skiva. But then we've got Vidovre, Marianlyst, we've got Frem in there. We've got some winnable games. It's going to be tough if they pick up some wins as well, but in the end, we've just got to try and do our best. We're 10 points from 10 games. I can't really ask for anything more than that from the players at this point. Hopefully we can keep that going, pick up a couple more wins against some of the teams around us. Maybe, we're taking the odd point here and there against some of the better sides, and that's all we can really hope for this season. So, if you have enjoyed the video, do be sure to drop a like on it. That'd be pretty damn cool. And if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. That'd be nice as well. For more videos in your inbox every single Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next episode for a lovely game against Roskilde. We'll be tough away from home. Oliver Betzer still won't be allowed to play in it, but thankfully he'll be able to play in the games after Christmas to give us a chance in the second half of the season at least. Plus we'll have a youth intake after that with our new improved youth recruitment. So you never know, we might get someone better than Betzer. Ooh, I like that. Potential title for an episode after Christmas, perhaps. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.